Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion around that how the concept of Nadi Nakshatra can be used for the determination of the right profession for you, or we could say this thing that what sort of skill set and professional theme you need to opt basis your moon nakshatra. So definitely guys, in the past as well we have had our discussion around the moon nakshatra, like at the time when you were born, in whichever zodiac sign your moon was transiting, and within that zodiac sign in whichever nakshatra moon was transiting, that moon nakshatra of yours becomes very important in order to determine your personality traits, in order to determine the most important fortunate years of your life, for the selection of the auspicious timing while doing muhurta, while naming a child, and also while if you have to determine the personal god, favorite god, Ishta Devta as well. So for so many ways the moon nakshatra comes into picture. But along with that guys, the 10th nakshatra from your moon nakshatra, which is also called as the karma nakshatra, that also becomes important, specifically when you have to determine the kind of style, the kind of skill set you need in order to progress in your professional sphere. So guys, in this video we will have our discussion on that only. What I have done, that I have already made a list of all the 27 nakshatras, and what you have to follow is that you have to follow basis your moon nakshatra. So the calculation part is also very simple. Now we all know this thing that Rahu has got a rulership over Adra, Swati and Sadbisha nakshatras. So if your moon nakshatra is Adra, that means your Karam nakshatra is Swati. For example, moon has got a rulership over Rohini, Hasta, Shravan. So if your moon nakshatra is Rohini, that means your Karma nakshatra is next, which is the Hasta. So guys, definitely this Karma nakshatra not only tell about that it is the characteristics of that Karma nakshatra being opted in your work style can help you. Along with that, even for all those people who have to get into partnership or any sort of alliances as well. So all those people in whose case their moon or their ascendant is placed in your Karam nakshatra, they will also play a pivotal role in your success as well. So like the way I mentioned this thing, that for example, if your moon nakshatra is Sadbisha, so the Karma nakshatra of yours become the Ardra. So that means whenever important planets like Saturn is going to be transiting from the Adra nakshatra, or you will get into business alliance with someone who is going to have his Lagan or moon in the Ardra nakshatra, that person can also play a very important role in your success as well. So yes guys, now after this, in the rest of the video, we will have a look at all the 27 nakshatras, and we will try to look at the peculiar personality traits or the peculiar work ethics which needs to be opted in order for you to find success. So guys, definitely starting with the first nakshatra, which is the Ashwini nakshatra. So let's say for example, if your moon Janam nakshatra is Ashwini, that means your Karam nakshatra is Magha. So what does that mean? It means that they are like peculiar qualities of the Magha. If you will opt that in your line of work, if you will add the skill set being represented by Magha, it can definitely help you. So guys, what all are those professional traits and skill set? So dealing with prominent and high status people, carrying forward the family legacy, profiles needing deep perception, penetrating insight and independent spirit. So this could happen in so many ways. Let's say for example, you are like secretary of a CEO of important government people, or let's say for example, you have this choice of either joining your family business or doing something on your own. So I would say that only if you will pay attention to the peculiar qualities of your Karma nakshatra and opt that in your line of work, in your professional to-do list, it can definitely help you. Now guys, moving ahead. Now the second moon nakshatra is if your Janam or the moon nakshatra is Bharani. That means your Karam nakshatra becomes the Purva Falguni. Now what all are the traits and skill set which you need, which we can extract from your Karma nakshatra, which is being in limelight, a spokesperson, or using your charisma, personal power for getting things done. Now we all know this thing that these all are the qualities which people who are in the media business, in the public sphere, or like the way, for example, there are like those people who by themselves are not holding an important seat, but they have the connections. So these all are the traits which could help Bharani Moon Nakshatra person. Along with that, serving government in one way or another, and enjoying luxury and entertaining others. So if your Janam or the Moon Nakshatra is Bharani, let's say for example, you are a content creator, you are a YouTuber as well. So you have to be entertaining. You cannot be very dull, very boring. People should feel thrilled. Like a lot many times, people say this thing that Nipun, I like your energy. Your energy is very uplifting. It's very happy. It's very positive. So this is how someone should behave if your Janam or the Moon Nakshatra is Bharani. Again guys, you do not have to straight away get into the business being represented by the Purva Falguni, because we know Purva Falguni is being ruled by the Venus, same like Bharani. But Bharani traits are something else. Here we are talking about in your professional sphere, the skill set, the approach and the attitude which you need to opt. They're like those people who are very aggressive. They are like their work style, leadership style is very autocratic, and there are those who are very empathetic. So here I'm talking about the traits, skill set and the attitude. Now guys, after that, if your Moon Nakshatra, Janam Nakshatra is Kritika, so that means your Karam Nakshatra is Uttara Falguni. So what all are the traits and skill set I have mentioned for you? So profiles needing exchange of favors, networking and goodwill. Profiles demanding self-reliance and independent decision making. So I made a spelling mistake. It's self-reliance and independent decision making, and association with charitable philanthropic organization. So definitely guys, I contemplated on the traits and qualities of the Uttara Falguni, because definitely your Moon Nakshatra, Karam Nakshatra is being ruled by the same planet Sun, which in itself represents independence. But we all know this thing that Kritika has got his or her own very peculiar cutting edge qualities. But when we talk about Uttara Falguni has got a different way of manifesting the solar sun qualities. So that is the only reason I mentioned this thing. Now definitely when we talk about exchange of favors, networking and goodwill, so having a strong presence wherever you are working and establishing relationship will definitely help you in the current situation or in the longer term as well. Now it hardly matters how much power is concentrated at you wherever you are working, but trying to establish good relationship whenever there is dire need, asking for favors becomes important for you. Now after that guys, if your Moon Nakshatra is Rohini, so that means your Karma Nakshatra is Hasta. So what does that mean? So professional traits and skill set which are there for you. So definitely all the peculiar qualities of the Hasta. So profiles demanding punctuality, discipline and being skilled with your hands. Now we all know this thing, Hasta prominence can make someone a good carpenter, a good surgeon, a good painter, good designer. Profiles which keep you mentally invigorated, stick to clock and busy. Now what does that mean? It means sticking to the clock, being very respecting the time is the key for the Hasta native success. And because it is your Karma Nakshatra, so at your professional sphere, I would say be like a Swiss or be like a German, be fixed to the clock, and try to keep yourself busy, because the concern with the Hasta is that a lot many times the Hasta energy gets very restless when you do not have something to be busy with, and they unnecessarily create jobs which are not very productive. So keep yourself busy. Along with that, being a satirist or a good conversationalist. So these all are also the qualities which can be attached with it. So in your line of work, like let's say for example your Moon Nakshatra is Rohini and you are a entertainer, stand-up comedian, so or you are a journalist, so you have to be very convincing enough. Your conversation skills have to be creating a lot of interest, lot of engagement. All of that becomes very important. After that guys, if your Moon Nakshatra, Janam Nakshatra is Mrigshira, so that means your Karma Nakshatra is Chitra. Now what all are the professional traits and skill sets which are needed? So a field where you have to give something a shape and form, because guys, Chitra has been attached with the engineers and the architects of the zodiac belt. So that means your Janam Nakshatra is Mirkshira, but in your line of work, so aesthetics and the design and the structure becomes very important whatsoever you are doing. Profiles where you have to critique, and surrounded by bright scintillating clothes, gems and jewelry. So this could be a case that your moon nakshatra is Mirikshira. You like plain clothes, but I would say that for your professional visibility and all, the typical Chitra qualities, jewelry and bright, vibrant, vivid colors might help you more for the enhancement of your brand image, of your personal reputation and all. Now guys, after that, if your moon nakshatra is Ardra, that means your karma nakshatra is Swati. So which all are the traits and skill sets you need to embrace? So the first is profiles demanding highest level of devotion, patriotism and focus. That becomes very important. That is the only reason with Swati, Lord Hanuman is also strongly connected with it. And being patient with your long-term plans. So definitely when we talk about the energy of the Swati, and because with the, if your Janam Nakshatra is Adra, there's a lot of chaos, unpredictability, uncertainty, which could be defining quality of your personality. But when it comes down to your professional choices, you have to be patient with your long-term goals and plans. Along with that guys, demonstrating social etiquettes, mannerism, and fitting into the social circles. So all of that becomes very important, like your mannerism and all, the way you conduct, the way you behave, the way you present yourself. Being an Adra, if you are a very whimsical, unpredictable person as a part of your personality, but when it comes down to taking the shots at your professional front, so over there mannerism will definitely take you far away in the life. Now guys, when we talk about the Janam or the moon nakshatra being Punarvasu, so that means your karma nakshatra becomes the Vishakha. So definitely guys, the traits and skill set which I have mentioned for you is that profiles needing high-end socialization over drinks, because guys, Vishakha natives have got this capacity, tendency to socialize, to be very much inclined towards the high-end luxurious things, fine alcohol, fine liquor, fine cigar, exotic food, luxurious cars and all. So this is how your branding and your approach has to be. Deep inside the Punarvasu qualities, you might be living your life on the simple living and high thinking kind of virtues and principles, but when it comes down to the kind of approach and mindset which is needed at your work front, the attitude, the skill set, I would say that high-end socialization and presenting yourself larger than life becomes very important. Along with that, fields demanding extreme competitiveness. So yes, you have to work like that at your work front and all. So if you are not that competitive, the Janam Nakshatra might not be able to help you, push you far in the life. Along with that, professions are selling big dreams or boastful promises. So definitely guys, all the marketeers, all those people who are in real estate and all, so these kind of selling insurance and all, so in these kind of businesses, or I would say this thing, that in your existing line of work as well, in whichever field you're operating, you have to be very confident and there has to be strong conviction about or regarding wheresoever you are currently operating in life. After that guys, if your Janam or the moon nakshatra is Pushya, so that means guys, your Karam nakshatra becomes the Anuradha. So guys, definitely the traits and skill set of Anuradha needs to be embraced at your work front. So fields needing frequent domestic and international travels. So being a Pushya moon person, never ever complain about travels. It will definitely contribute. Along with that, profiles with extreme devotion to a cause, purpose, belief or one person. And lastly, fields needing exploration, knowledge and support from network, friends, connections. So definitely guys, all the points can be elaborated in so many ways. Now when I say travels, I mention this thing that travels and work related travels will definitely serve you. Along with that, there has to be a strong conviction and devotion to a cause. Like in every field, there is a person which everyone look up to. Like for example, I started my professional journey with advertising in India, and there is this Indian advertising guru, Piyush Pandey sir. So everyone look up to him. People who get into acting, so many people look up to Amitabh Bachchan. So that is what needed to be there to drive you, to force you. Now in your case, if it is a god or a religious person, that also is going to serve you. Whenever in the testing times, you'll be needing that push, that motivation. And along with that, exploration, knowledge, how much you are gaining every day in your line of work, that also needs to be introspected. After that, guys, if your moon nakshatra is Ashlesha, so that means your karma nakshatra is Jyeshtha. So which all are the traits and skill set which could be extracted from Jyeshtha? So profiles with provision of rapid growth to position power, fields demanding mind games, cleverness and diplomacy, fields carrying responsibility and accountability of many. So definitely guys, Jyeshtha has something to do with the growth, seniority, being in that position of power and all. But the good part is that they are also very good leaders as well. They know how to take the responsibility and how to fulfill those job responsibilities assigned to them. So all these are the approach and attitude needs to be embraced if your Janam Nakshatra is Ashlesha, making your Karma Nakshatra the Jyeshtha. Now guys, if your moon nakshatra is Magha, so that means your karma nakshatra becomes the Mula. So the traits which needs to be extracted from the Mula, fields requiring to go into the root of the matter. So whatsoever you are doing, like you cannot work in a superficial way. Getting into the core, the heart of a subject matter becomes very important. This has to be your approach and attitude. Researching, exploring into paranormal, extraterrestrial, transcendental realm. So that in itself means that whatsoever is unknown, hidden, paying attention to the omens. So if you are a Janam Nakshatra Magha person, you cannot sign anything important at the time of new moon or whenever there is eclipse and all. So omens play a very important role for the Ketu ruled nakshatra. So your Karma nakshatra is Mula, you have to pay attention to that. And lastly, skills either needing blindfolded faith or being completely cut out from your senses. So again guys, when it comes down to Ketu, there is always a extreme energy. So either you are so blinded by your conviction, your devotion to someone, to something, or there could be that you're completely cut off your senses and all what matters is doing your job. Ask this thing to a cop, ask this thing to a security person or any army military person. You might be, and they might be very religious, very spiritual, very someone who is an advocate of non-violence. But just because this is what their dharma is, this is what their duty is for their nation, they have to kill people. So this is what is needed as a traits and skill set which you need to embrace. Now guys, if your moon nakshatra is Purva Falguni, so your Karma nakshatra becomes Purva Shadha, which means the traits which can be extracted from it. Fields needing motivation akin to invincibility. I cannot be defeated, I cannot lose, I cannot give up. Professions with possibility of doing something inspirational, and work which entails joy of living, comfortable job execution and consistent progress. So again guys, every point I have mentioned over here deeply defines the innate qualities of Purva Shadha, but this is your Karma Nakshatra. At your work front, this sort of attitude and kind of mindset needs to be put forth. Now guys, if your moon nakshatra is Uttara Falguni, that means your Karma Nakshatra becomes the Uttara Ashadha. So that means the traits and skill sets which could be extracted from the Uttara Ashadha, fields bearing the flag of a family business, cause, belief, ideology. Like the way I gave this example, if you started your career in films, there has to be a person you look up to. This could be a god, this could be belief, this could be a larger than life image, but there has to be that sense of conviction and devotion to someone. Protecting your public image and reputation, as you will be revered for your guidance and advice. So Uttara Shadha natives are generally are known in the society for their wisdom, their knowledge and their good guidance. So your public image and reputation, protecting it becomes important. Along with that guys, deep respect for traditional values, and capacity to live a simple life irrespective of amassing huge wealth. So no matter how much wealth you have acquired, so still living a simple life becomes very important. Now guys, if your Janam or the moon nakshatra is Hasta, so your Karma nakshatra becomes the Shravan. So which all are the qualities which can be extracted from this nakshatra, which needs to be put forth at your professional front. So working in mass media with a successful singing or podcasting career, so the traits of that, like a good listener, a very convincing speaker, whatever you are presenting, you have done good research on that. And deities like Vishnu and Saraswati, which are connected with the Shravan, so it definitely makes native a good preserver, or which in today's modern times are positions like CEO, CFO, means you are or you have to be good in the management or allocation of things, how you run the show. After that guys, if your moon nakshatra is Chitra, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Dhanishta. The qualities which could be extracted from the Dhanishta are roles which involves dealing with large groups and organizations, capacity to manage big sum of money, wealth management, and working with the right rhythm and mindset in the career pave path to many awards and accolades. Now all these points could be elaborated in this way, that definitely big multinational companies or all those projects which involves a liaisonship or bridging the gap between many big organizations and people, you could be good over there. Your capacity to manage how you handle the big sum of money, the wealth management, this has to be embraced, or this has to be made your strong forte in your line of work as a skill set. And lastly guys, definitely the right set of rhythm becomes very important whenever Dhanishta comes into play. So taking the shots at the right time, working with the right approach and attitude, the rhythm becomes very important. Along with that guys, if your moon nakshatra, Janam nakshatra is Swati, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Satabhisha. So definitely guys, the traits and skill set which can be extracted from the Satabhisha, that means staying secretive and mysterious about your endeavors, always pay in long term. You cannot reveal your plans, what are you doing. Proficiently in healing, proficiency in healing of this nakshatra should be used as intuitive problem solving and empathy. And lastly, profiles requiring philosophical attitude, truth seeking, unbounded vision, and analytical mind. So yes guys, every point of this slide has deeply carrying the qualities of the Sadbhisha, which you need to put forth in your work front. So like the way I mentioned, do not reveal your plans till the time they have not got fructified, or like how you can intuitively like whenever someone has come to you with a problem, how can you intuitively see it, how can you give the right guidance to someone. And along with that, having a philosophical attitude, like the way even in astrology there is a branch, red book, Lal Kitab. I came across lot many Lal Kitab followers which like even when they have to explain any yoga, they explain it through a shairi, and which is actually like a very philosophical way, very deeper, knowledgeable way of looking at any situation, any yoga. So this sort of attitude needs to be embraced in your work front. Now guys, if your moon nakshatra is Vishakha, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Purva Bhadrapada. So guys, the traits and skill set which needs to be embraced. So profiles requiring hard work, sincerity, and perseverance becomes very important. In your line of work, there is no shortcut. You have to go the long way, and you have to do the job with complete diligence. Roles requiring to become ruthless and domineering. Definitely guys, the influence of Purva Bhadrapada as your Karma nakshatra can actually make you a very autocratic kind of a leader, but in long term it is gonna serve you. You might be ruthless, but for the good of the company, for your responsibilities, or for your own growth as well. And lastly, capacity to smoothly balance a dual life. This is the trait which are attached with the Purva Bhadrapada, like one blended in everyday life and other being dark and secretive. So that means all the people who are in the secret covert activities and all could benefit with the Karma nakshatra qualities of the Purva Bhadrapada. Either you might already be doing it, or embracing this kind of approach can actually help you in your career. Now guys, if your moon nakshatra is Anuradha, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Uttara Bhadrapada. So that means the traits and skill set which we can extract from the Uttara Bhadrapada are roles demanding good counseling skills, fields requiring devotion for some higher cause or larger than life, professions requiring extraordinary abilities, and being in fields where you could benefit from favors, gifts, tips, donations and all. So again guys, you have to contemplate in all these points. I'm not saying that you have to be in the business with this kind of skill set. In wheresoever you are, how you can embrace the qualities of this, like in your line of work. So be a good counselor, be a problem solver, not a problem creator. Along with that, devotion to a higher cause, like the way in every field, like you get into I mentioned this thing, Indian advertising, Piyush Pandey, in Bollywood, Amitabh Bachchan. So in every field there is a role model, so there has to be a person who inspires you. Along with that, you want to get into astrology, K.N. Rao sir. So there are like so many inspirations all around us. Now guys, if your moon nakshatra is Jyeshtha, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Revati. So the qualities of the Revati which could be extracted. So someone who instills faith about divine providence. So definitely this could be you are a preacher, you are a motivational speaker. This approach could help you. Good people pleasing skills, making someone a good contender for the role of a socialite or PR person. So definitely guys, you should be a people's person, a people pleaser. So that will definitely help you long term. Roles providing empathy, nourishment or complete absorption for a cause. Now guys, let's say for example, if your moon nakshatra is the Mula, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Ashwini. Now the qualities of the Ashwini which could be extracted and put forth in your existing line of work are quick decision making becomes very important. Youth connect, the way you operate, there has to be that vigor, that energy, that drive which come across very youthful. So that needs to be embraced. Providing solution, definitely whenever we talk about Ashwini, it has to do with the herbs, it has to do with the medicine and the guidance. Along with that, travels and frequently on move. So these all are the qualities for a Mula nakshatra, Janam nakshatra person which needs to be embraced in your existing line of work for success. Now guys, when we talk about the your Janam or the moon nakshatra being the Purva Ashadha, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Bharani. So the qualities and the traits of the Bharani which could be embraced at your profession are being creative, dealing with storage of data, collection of things, because you know that Bharani has to do with the Bharan, with the that is the only reason the womb and the childbirth, pregnancy, all are connected with the Bharani. So big storage of data and all, and how you manage that, your efficiency in that. Being vocal about otherwise taboo things. So definitely guys, when we talk about Bharani, so in so many tradition, culture, communities, sex is still a very topic where people feel very uncomfortable. They cannot openly publicly talk about it. So being very vocal about it and proficiently handling working in extremely turbulent situation. So these all are the traits which you need to put forth at your existing line of work or embrace as your professional mojo, professional style. Now guys, when we talk about the your Janam or the moon nakshatra being the Uttarashadha, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Kritika. So the traits and skill set which could be extracted from the Kritika put forth in your line of work are kind of work where you have to train or parent, because guys, Kritika has been connected with the qualities where the Kritikas have taught Lord Kartikeya. So kind of work where you are training or imparting, giving guidance to the people. Profiles demanding where you have to challenge status quo, where you have to debate a lot, where you have to show the resistance, where you have to protest. You could be very good in that. Again, you do not have to be in those line of work. Wheresoever you are working, always be ready to put forth your point with strong research and conviction. And definitely guys, usage of skills to cut, demolish or break through for the good of everyone needs to be embraced. Now guys, if your Janam or the moon nakshatra is the Shravan, so your Karma nakshatra becomes the Rohini. Now which all are the qualities of the Rohini which could be understood, extracted and put forth in your line of work as a professional style. So being charming, romantic or an eye candy. So presentation becomes very important. Involving vehicles, transportation or travels, that is your forte. So never resist or hesitate frequent traveling which comes as a part of your job responsibilities. And lastly guys, being creative, fertile or constructively productive will definitely take you far away in your professional journey. Now guys, after that, if your moon nakshatra is Dhanishta, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Mrigshira. So the traits and the qualities or the skill set which could be extracted from it, put forth in your existing line of work. So jobs needing high level of alertness, so that is the first quality. And jobs needing strong mental dexterity or analysis. So in your existing line of work, wherever you are working, staying all the time cautious about the sensitive information, how you deal your bosses, how you handle any sort of criticism, and your mental dexterity, analysis, analytical skills becomes very important. Along with that guys, if your Janam nakshatra is the Satabhisha, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Ardra. So the traits and qualities which could be extracted and put forth in your existing line of work are working on innovative, scientific and futuristic things, working in formidable roles, instigating fear and awe. So being a very disciplined, no nonsense kind of boss will definitely help you. Along with that, willing to wander to gain experience. So whatsoever you have to gain as a part of your learning, you might have to wander around before landing at something, a piece of gem or information, something which is gonna serve you. After that guys, if your moon nakshatra is Purva Bhadrapada, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Punarvasu. The qualities of Punarvasu which could be extracted and put forth in your existing line of work are being safe and imparting safety to others. So that becomes very important. Fields where consistent and repetitive attempts are required. Now you know this thing that your destiny is connected to becoming a politician, is to become an actor. We know how much rejections or how much struggle and how much patience and perseverance these fields have to demonstrate. So because your Karma nakshatra is Punarvasu, so learn the the wisdom which lies in the failures, in the rejection, because you might have to put forth repetitive attempts in order to land at something very substantial. And guys, if your moon nakshatra is Uttar Bhadrapada, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Pushya. That means the qualities of Pushya which could be extracted and put forth in your existing line of work are nurturing and taking care, public service or catering to mass trends, profiles demanding high level of patriotism, solidarity and reliability. So again guys, you do not have to be in these specific field. Wheresoever you are working, whatsoever you are doing and operating, you have to embrace, you have to implement these sort of skill set. And guys, lastly, if your Janam or the moon nakshatra is Revati, that means your Karma nakshatra becomes the Ashlesha. So which all are the qualities of Ashlesha which could be implemented in your professional life as a part of your traits and your skill set. So trained to be among the first to arrive at the scene of a emergency to provide assistance or resolution. So the first responder in a way. So you cannot be a part of the crowd, you have to be the first one to come up with a solution of any problem. Power of intuition blended with a natural intuition definitely take you far away in your professional journey. And lastly guys, fields needing stingy use of finances, diplomacy and expertise with poisonous chemicals. So is the domain of the Ashlesha. So taking all those decisions, working in all these kind of fields. Now guys, in modern day context or poisonous chemicals, if you're not working as a pharmacist, so could also be a symbol for the very hard scathing criticism as well. How you constructively use it for your growth all of that will become very important if your karma nakshatra is Ashlisha. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For furthermore updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.